All right, Matt, we are back. I'm still wearing the same clothes as are you. Filming this on the same day. I guess, as you said earlier, maybe we should just have the same thing on for every episode.
Switch shirts. We should just switch shirts in between.
There you go.
Nobody would know.
No, that's true. Today, I want to talk about, when you guys get a digital marketing client, what the heck do they expect out of you guys? I'm curious, because it's very rare that I meet people that are super happy about their, digital marketing agency. Everyone's like, I pay these guys a lot of money. Yeah. It's hard to track results. I don't know what the heck's going on. So I'm just curious what they expect is going to happen. I would imagine they probably think they're going to hire you guys on a Monday and by Tuesday flooded with leads, but I could be wrong. So
yes,
what happened?
You're not wrong.
No, okay.
Well, okay. So to begin, let's make a pact amongst friends. Okay. Brother to brother. Okay.
Brother to brother.
You can't, I will not divulge any of my current clients in this pet peeve scenario.
Okay.
Only clients that I no longer work with, and no clients by name. But probably if some of them are watching, they could put 2 and 2 together.
Okay.
Okay. So what do clients, the question was that you asked, what do clients expect when they start working with us?
Yeah, or working with any digital marketing agency. I mean, what do they think is going to happen?
Yeah. Marketing is really tricky in 2 respects, digital marketing in particular. I experience this all the time when I was inside a company, a home servicing company, and we were trying to sell it. The first thing I think is usually the business owners that we talk to, I'll give you a good ratio. I would say 70% is a good number. Think that they know what they're talking about when they talk about digital marketing. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm pulling in the vibe of my whole team here. Mostly that's not true. Okay. Most of the people that come to us and think that they understand digital marketing, we realize very quickly we're not even speaking the same language. That's one. The second one is just like you said, man. We work with so many people who are like, day 1, it's day 2. Where are these leads? Yep. Especially if somebody comes to us in the middle of a season, which happens to us a lot. Because people fall in and out of love with their digital marketing company so quickly. They'll expect results on day 2, and it just don't work like that. It does not work like that. There has a foundation that you set. There are things that you optimize as you go. There are things that you test and measure through a span of time to improve upon. And there's a commitment that you got to make to longevity to get the kind of results that you're looking for. I would say full stop. There isn't a digital marketing company that's not brokering leads that can be like, yes, day 2, here's all your leads. Here they are. Here they are. So yeah, those are 2 things that we get all the time when we start working with a new client.
So, I mean, I would imagine right out of the gate, you've got to set expectations appropriately and handle some of these unrealistic expectations. How does that work?
Bro, like when you close on a house and you get those closing documents and you initial down through the digital closing documents. Yep. I have literally created, as a former teacher, I've literally created a DocuSign where in the onboarding process, we read to our new clients as if they have no idea what we're saying. And sign here, right? And sign here, please. And sign here. And you will not believe it, man. So many of them still be like, well, where's the blah, blah, blah? And why isn't this happening? Hey, friend, do you remember that part that you initialed where you said, I understand that the onboarding process is going to take about a week and a half, right? I understand that there is a learning period inside of Google, right? I understand. You click that box, man. Damn it. You click the box. We try all the things. We try to set expectations before, over and over through email. And then I've created like a closing document. It's massive. It's embarrassingly massive.
Yep.
A closing document where they initial and check as we go to try to make sure that we're on a page. And man, too often it's like they don't even remember that they did those things.
Well, what are some of the, when you bring these guys, when you have a new client, I mean, I would imagine a new client comes on board, you've got to kind of audit what they've been doing. and then ultimately what you're going to do with them. I mean, what are some of the most frequent mistakes you see these businesses are making with their digital marketing when they come on board?
One,
too big to list.
Is that no, there are some things that come to mind. What's crazy about this is we have a language that we use internally to describe these scenarios with clients that we're bringing on. It's like secret code, like SOS that we send to each other in Slack when we know something's coming because we've seen it so many times. And so it's easy to recall what pisses me off in working with clients, especially unreasonable clients. One of the things is that paid search is immediate gratification. It does happen faster than SEO. You do get your results quicker than you do with organic search, for sure. But it is not immediate gratification. There is a startup time where we're getting all the assets and information from the partner, business information. What kinds of things do you take care of? What kind of services do you provide? What kinds of things don't you want us to? Where's your target demographic? What's your geographic region? This takes about a week, right? To get all this information, to get it all, check all the boxes and get it ready to go. Then you take the ads that we've built, the way that we've built them, and you load them into Google. Well, Google needs about 5 to 7 business days of a learning period to determine, because Google wants conversions. It's not going to just hit the gas pedal once you give it a new campaign. Google wants to determine what's going to get it the most conversions, because the most conversions Google gets for the business, the more money the business is going to give to Google, right? So there's a 5 to 7 learning period time. And so right there, you're looking at about a little over 2 weeks to even start the party, right? And then we're going into week 3 and 4 of the first month where, we are optimizing and learning from what we are seeing and redirecting the campaign to try to get better and better and better over time. The other thing I think people don't understand is every conversion that you make with Google informs the last conversion, is informed by the last conversion. So if I'm working for Paul's home service industry and Paul's like, leads, need them right now. Every conversion that we make makes the next conversion smarter. And so that takes time. It takes money and it takes time to make that happen. So anybody that with a soft handshake, and doesn't have the pocketbook to support it, probably shouldn't investigate. So yeah, that's the first one. Paid search is fast, but it's not immediate. Another one, especially we have a lot of clients who will build websites for, or I would say, I think you and I kind of started this particular facet of my company together. Let's just say we have clients that are hastily exiting other companies because they want their own website, for example. It's not a clean transition, and it takes some time and it takes some planning to make it happen. And just because you've launched a website doesn't mean it's going to not have any problems because the last website didn't, right? And so when we found a lot of times when we take what was given to us in terms of a website and have to create a new website for a business owner that wants the rights to their own property, which is rightfully theirs. When we turn that thing on, man, it can get real buggy in there. And on day one, you've got a new partner that is not very happy with us. And so we are like code red. I've got the developer online. I've got my creative team online, and we are hastily trying to see all these. It's like playing Duck Hunt. You remember Duck Hunt?
I do.
Like you wait for the duck and then you blast that joker out of the sky. So yeah, those are two things that, and then, the usual stuff with organic search. Why even do this? Why is this even important? I don't see the importance of this. And, we talked about that in the last episode, but all that kind of stuff pops up all the time. And we are sending each other, code in Slack, to help mitigate, future, scenarios with frustrated partners.
So let's talk about frustrated. Let's talk about some frustrated clients. Let's dig a little bit. Let's dig deep into what are some things that have happened.
Let's dig.
I want you to channel your inner Mike Rogers right now and tell me some stories.
All
right?
Okay, I'll tell you.
I've
got some stories.
And you know what Mike Rogers' best story that he ever told is when he went.
No.
He went into a home and sprayed ethanol. When
he almost blew
the pilot light was on. Yes, almost blew a house up. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So we've established at the top of this video, none of these are my current clients, and I'm not using names.
Yep. Okay.
But I remember, especially in the infancy of our company, man, when a company begins, you really do, you know this, you started companies. When a company begins, you're willing to do more than whatever it takes to make it work, right? And I remember this one guy that came on board with us. He came on board with us in season, okay? When you come and partner with a digital marketing company, but your season has already begun, your gross revenue curve for the year has already started to spike, you're pitting this digital marketing company against what we just talked about, an onboarding time, a learning curve for Google, and all of the foundational work that has to go in place. You've got your digital marketing companies back against the wall, right? And we've got to produce stuff really quickly because you are feeling the pressure as Paul, the Florentine business owner, to produce leads, and you've cut a check. And so why don't I have results yet? Well, we are still trying to get you off the ground, and we still need time and money to make this successful. And it's in season, so demand is here, and all of the competition is against you because you're just getting going while all the other cars have hit the gas pedal because they were planning in October. But for some reason, you decided it was a good idea to start this in, I think it was May.
Okay.
So guy comes to me in May, I mean, this is pest control specific, I can say, suffice it to say. His digital marketing budget for us for paid search was $1,800. That's the equivalent of peeing
per day
in $1,800 per month.
Per month. Okay. Interesting.
That's the equivalent, even with conversion costs as low as we can get them. That's the equivalent of just taking a piss in the ocean. Who cares, right? There's so much out there, and there are companies that are spending so much. We've got companies that are spending an incredible amount of money to get leads, and they're getting them. And so this guy comes in and he's like, he says to me, I know so many people in this business, and I just want to try this out and see how this works. And if it works, I'll tell everybody. But if it doesn't work, I'm going to tell everybody. And I was like, okay, shit. So backs against the wall. We've got this onboarding time. We've got a learning curve in Google. We start producing conversions at the onset. They're not the best because the campaign is like an infant. It's like a toddler that's learning how to walk. It's still kind of wobbly, right? This guy I'm giving triage in person, okay? In person. I mean, at Killingsworth, we were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on paid search, okay? I'm giving triage to this person because I know in my mind, if you can just get to this line, this is going to take off, but you've got to stick with me. Because already on week 4, if you think about the math we just did, he's been out of his learning cycle maybe for a week, right? And he's expecting incredible results on $1,800 to $2,000 budget, right? Well, he's not pleased with the results, and there's not enough of them, right? For it to satisfy him. Well, it's a small budget anyway. That's the other piece of the puzzle, Paul. Damn. It's one of the most contentious markets in the United States, for God's sake.
Of course, right? Why wouldn't
there are markets that we step into? Why not, right? Just add it. Add it on. There are markets that we step into where we've got plenty of leg room, plenty of room to kind of move around and operate and get in the fight and make something happen. And then there are markets that are densely populated with businesses, big players, small players, all looking for their piece of the pie. And we are doing everything we can with a $2,000 budget, which is like going into a gunfight with a butter knife to try to carve out our piece of the pie in this mess.
His next door neighbor spending 50 grand a month, and
we're in season. Our budget is roughly $2,000. And I'm trying to get this guy, we're doing everything it takes because the company's young and we need everybody. So I offer up, please don't judge me. If anybody's listening to this and they think that they can start working with us in Lizard now and this is still on the table, it's not. I learned my lesson. I start putting in my own money to help this guy keep going, right? My own money, right? My money, to help this guy continue to increase the size of his. If I was saying things like, we need a bigger budget. We're using a butter knife in the gunfight. I've got to at least give my girls, a handgun while they're going in there, right? So I'll throw a little bit of money in if you'll just get with me to this mark, right? Okay, I'll give you a little bit more time. Man, this guy didn't make it. I think he bailed somewhere between the 7th and 8th week 8-week mark. So the campaign's not even fully optimized. We didn't get to our threshold that we agreed upon we were going to try to get to. And he just pulls out altogether. So then I do some triage after the fact. You know, we are as transparent as we know how to be. We record all of our phone calls, for example. We can see everything that's coming in real time. I am like gutted, right? I put my own skin in the game. I'm doing everything I can to try to help this guy, and provide for him a support for what I know how to do in the service industry, right? I mean, think about I'm not like, I don't like to like have a big ego, right? But honestly, with the kinds of things that we have done together, someone should be able to trust that I can grow their business at this point, right? I can't believe how much of my belly I showed with this guy. I was humiliated, right? So I go back in and I'm looking.
Go ahead. No, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you tell me. I
was just going to say, why did you take the guy on to begin with?
We were young. I needed everybody. My staff was growing, right? Yeah. And I needed to bring in and secure contracts to ensure our future. We're a business just like anybody else, you know? Right. And so I've got overhead and I've got monthly expenses that I got to take care of. So I was like, I'll do what it takes to get you to that. Because I knew if I could just grow this guy's business just a little bit, he might stick with us, right?
Right.
So, I was desperate. But I go back and I start reviewing all this guy's stuff. Well, most of the time the phone wasn't getting answered and they were calling them back, for example. And then we're of the calls that were answered, we're listening to the calls and we're evaluating how this person who's receiving the call is handling this client or accepting the sale, right? And it was, I mean, it's suffice it to say it was hot garbage. It was hot garbage, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times with smaller businesses in particular, they'll just put a warm butt in the seat. And it's not always the right butt for that seat.
Yes.
And so whoever takes our leads needs to be a salesperson. They need to fight hard for the sale. They need to have an excellent closing ratio and a track record of doing so, right? And their excuse can't always be it's the digital marketing company. If you hear that and you've been through multiple digital marketing companies, which this dude had, that should have been a red flag for me. This dude had been through several digital marketing companies within a year, right? Yeah. That should have been a flag for me. I should have known better.
Yeah.
But if you've got a sales guy who's like, it's the digital marketing company, this one sucks too, you may need to find the common denominator, which could be your sales guy.
You know, it's like,
and it turns out in this case it was.
When the girl can never make it past the third date, got to start asking questions.
What's the problem? What's the actual problem here? Is it you or is it him? Or where are we? Where is our mind here? So I lost money, right? I put my own skin in the game. I did my best to help that company, honestly, and it didn't work out. And I learned a very valuable lesson there. Don't put your own skin in the game, especially if they've been through a handful of digital marketing companies in the last year. Yeah. Flag. We have a code word. We have a code word internally that we use for people that are just like this. Because now I'm very grateful to be at a place where we can decide, yes, we'll help you. And no, we throw the code word into Slack. This one's, and I won't tell you what the code word is.
I was going to say, I wanted to ask you what the code word is.
No, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it does have an emoji. And anytime we see that emoji in our Slack, we're like, oh no, it's a no on that one. And it's a learned behavior from these previous experiences that we've had.
Could you tell us, is the emoji that little brown triangle of shit?
No, no, that would be too easy. Okay. I will say the emoji is a fruit or a vegetable. That's what I'll say.
It's a fruit or a vegetable. I'll tell you what. You should. I was going to say you should give some sort of a intro discount to a listener who can guess what the actual code word is.
If you can guess, if somebody guesses in the comments below, I'll DM you and let you know if it's right, because we can switch our code word if we need to. But this is a code word we've literally used for the past year to determine, hey, we want to get on board with this partner, or this is a bad idea. We don't want to do this.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about this guy spending $1,800 a month, but it makes me think about managing client relationships in general with regard to digital marketing. Yeah. So, what are some of the most challenging aspects? I mean, we talked about expectations, right? Making sure you set appropriate expectations with the client, but what are some other aspects?
Yeah. I would say this is the only time I'll flex on our pact that we made at the beginning of this, because this happens with some of our current clients now. One of the things that we hear the most with clients that are coming over to us is they never hear from their digital marketing company. Okay. We hear that more than anything else that we hear.
Yep.
We send them an email and we get an email response. We get this PDF and that's all we get. Bro, we are so extra. I don't even know what to tell you. This has been standard since I got here. Okay. My paid search team and the account manager that's assigned to each client are listening to phone calls every week and showing up at weekly meetings. Okay. Weekly meetings in person with the client to get feedback and get that to my team so we can continue to optimize these campaigns. Some of the reasons that our costs, our conversion costs are what they are is because of this continuous communication with the partner. And what I hate more than many things in digital marketing is to constantly hear this criticism that digital marketing companies don't meet with their team, and to have my team be so available to the client and to be stood up on weekly meetings. I get it. Business owners are out in the field, whatever, but a representative from your team needs to be meeting with my account managers. Full stop. I've got, we've had people in the past who have missed like 6 consecutive meetings. Okay. This would be something my dad would have done, honestly. He would have missed multiple meetings, but he would step right back in if he's furious about something or didn't understand something, but not when, hey, we can work together and continue to move this thing in the right direction. Like we've gotten better at determining some boundaries for ourselves specifically because my team is going in pretty hard, but it drives me nuts to no end, Paul. When I hear the complaint, we start the relationship with the new client. We never could get in touch with our digital marketing company, but they've stood us up for like 6 weeks in a row, right? 6 weeks in a row. That's happened recently. And I'm thinking to myself, how can we optimize your campaign? How can we improve on what's going on with your sales team or your internal operations to give you our feedback for things that we're seeing if you won't take the time to meet with us, right? Hate it. It's one of my top 5.
What even happens at a weekly meeting with a digital marketing agency? I mean, what are you talking to the client about?
So Paul's service industry in Florence, Italy, right? It is Tuesday. It's 11 o'clock. This is the agreed upon time for a meeting cadence that you've established with your account manager from Lizard. Between this time and the last time, the account manager has listened to inbound calls and evaluated what's going on in your sales pipeline, right? And is coming to you with some questions, some observations, possibly some critiques from the things that they see your salespeople may be doing or may not be doing, obstacles they can't overcome. For example, price objection is the thing that we hear the most, right? We're coming to you with a whole list of things. We're coming to you with fixes, right? Hey, we noticed last week, I don't know if you've noticed, Paul, with your service industry in Florence, that your conversion cost spiked a little bit. From what we see, we think it's happened because of this. These are the changes that we have made. This is what you should expect to see by the end of the month, right? We're doing all of this stuff. My account managers are on. I want them to be on because you remember how and when we met, right? My account manager, her name was Allie Gamble. Shout out Allie Gamble. At Pinckney Harmon, right? Pinckney was my digital marketing company. Man, both her and Mike Pinckney were like on speed dial. We were a big client, but they were on speed dial. And every time Allie showed up, she showed up with a list of, she was diligent and she was on. She showed up with a list of everything that had been accomplished, all the problems that they solved before I noticed. They were asking questions about any problems that I see with how the campaign was running. And this is how I've trained my account managers to operate with their partners. We will never, I think one of the other things that we see, or critique that we deal with a lot with service-based businesses that are working with a digital marketing company is, we just don't get the white glove treatment that we're looking for. I'm never going to take on more clients than I can give white glove treatment to. And that's because I want the same type of help that I received from my digital marketing company to be provided for my clients and for our partners. So that's what they're coming, man. They come with a whole laundry list of shit that they go through with the partners week in, week out.
And I would imagine on these weekly meetings, are you going through metrics and analytics with them?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We noticed your organic traffic has increased. We think that's because this content has been added to your site. We've noticed that you've been getting a lot of calls like this. So we've adjusted, some things, on the back end of Google to try to move away from that or steer away from that. We've gotten you a refund on this, right? Here is your current cost per conversion between this week and last week. It's risen a little bit or it's dropped a little bit. These things even out over time, right? Here are how many conversions that you're getting. If you're not satisfied with the number of conversions that you're getting, but you're satisfied with the cost, do you want to increase the budget, or are you happy to leave it where it's at, right? We're going through KPIs with our partners and our clients like weekly, right? So that they can see that we're on top of it. I say this like outside in a thunderstorm. I think it's actually going to thunderstorm today. I'd say it outside in the thunderstorm today. Mm-hmm. We are on top of our clients' data usually more than they are. And so we're taking all those things into the meeting, especially fixes. You know, it's important. Paul, out in Florence, if there is a problem and Paul doesn't know about it yet, and we have to bring something to his attention, he wants to know that we are fixing the problem as we bring him the problem, right? Mm-hmm. Not the reverse, right? So there's lots of stuff. Those are all covered inside of the weekly meetings.
And do you often, you know, when you're meeting with these clients, I would imagine you guys come up with a variety of different ideas for them. I mean, how often are clients resistant to these ideas, and how do you deal with that?
So often. It's hard too because you know, it's a give and take, right? We have to rely on the sales team. We have to rely on the business owner to give us actual information on boots on the ground, right? Mm-hmm. If we're making leads for, or driving traffic to Paul's business, there is a threshold that we can't necessarily cross. Once we get into the operational aspects of the inside of your business, we lose a lot of visibility, right?
Right.
And so without that, like, feedback, we're hindered, right? Which is why that constant relationship is so important, which is why it pisses me off when clients are like, yeah, I can never get in touch with my digital marketing company, but I'm going to skip a shit ton of meetings, right? However, sorry, this a little internal like tick or something, I don't know, Asperger's. One of the things that is really important is the feedback that they give us to determine how we can pivot. For example, if they're getting a lot of calls, but it's on the cheaper side of the services, mm-hmm. we can work with them to build a marketing strategy to cross market to these people that have called in, mm-hmm. to offer other services to increase the size of that contract value. If the client's not meeting with us and telling us what kind of clients what kind of phone calls and leads that they're getting, what kind of phone calls and leads that they want, mm-hmm. or whether or not we're hitting the mark or going above and beyond or whatever, then we don't know how to adjust the strategy to meet their need, right? And so that feedback is critical simultaneously, especially with the younger company that's just getting started. There is this like psychology of a startup entrepreneur. You'll know, I mean, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. We see it, especially when we go to these conventions and we start talking to people. Yep. These guys just start to make a little money, and they all of a sudden start to walk around like their shit doesn't stink, right? Mm-hmm. They know everything. They've solved everything. They can do everything. And it's personalities like that when you're like, hey, we need to try this with the experience. I mean, I've been doing this for like 15 years, right? Yep. With the experience that I've got, we can increase contract size. We can get more conversions. We can lower the cost per conversion if we make some adjustments like this. And when we get pushback from people that are dogmatic but uninformed about digital marketing specifically, that's like a real tough pill for me to swallow. And what we've started doing recently to kind of circumvent that a little bit is we've got a section on our reporting where we are giving our clients action items as well, right? A lot of the times people treat their digital marketing company like you ring a little bell and your digital marketing company just comes and does stuff for you. But we're flipping the script. The older lizard gets, we're flipping the script too. And we'll be like, we've recommended that you guys did this, but you haven't done that yet. We need you to do that so we can get better at doing what we're doing. We've got this whole list on our reporting page of action items that we need the partner to facilitate so we can do our job. Just so we can kind of keep that, push through those personalities, right? And also say, hey, we're the subject matter experts for digital marketing in the service field. we realize that you've got a goal and we want to help you get to that goal. And this is what our experience tells us you need to do to get to that goal. And so those are kind of the ways that we deal with personalities. We need their feedback. Simultaneously, sometimes we need them to like chill, right? So yeah, it's definitely a give and take.
I guess in closing, I wanted to ask you, do you have any advice out there for folks that are looking to form a relationship with an agency and how they can make that a more productive relationship?
A wise decision.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before, but start with asking for, you need performance review. You need to see how they've done for other clients, and you need to evaluate if that's something that you want. You'd be amazed at some of the reports that we see that come to us of clients that they thought were good before they brought them to us, and we're like, oh shit, this is terrible, right? You want to see these things before you get in bed with them, right? Simultaneously, if you say things like, I need regular cadence with my digital marketing company, bro, if you say that at the onset, you better show your ass up to the meetings. Show up, be present. If you want this to work, because there are 4 aspects to a service industry. There's new opportunities coming in. There's sales that close the opportunity. There's ops to handle the opportunities. And then there's money bags at the back of the house, filling up your coffers, right?
Yep.
You can think whatever you want to about a digital marketing company, but it is one of the 4 key components to your business's success. So you're going to want to know what the cadence of communication is between you and the digital marketing company, and you better show your ass up. So yeah, you want to see their performance, you want to see what communication looks like, and you want to track and measure results over time, for sure. You want as much transparency on their work as you can possibly get.
Awesome. Well, Matt, as per usual, I appreciate you taking us down this path. Thanks for your time today, brother.
Spilling some tea with you, absolutely, all day.
Right on.